Hi guys, welcome back. Something else that I wanted to cover in a separate video that I didn't want to include in the combo system video itself is manuals because I don't feel like, hear me out, I don't feel like they're mandatory. And what I mean by that is you can win without using any single manual in your entire combo game. Now, are they helpful? Yes, but I don't think they're mandatory. And they're kind of like a catch-22 because you see top players doing them, so you assume that they're good, but not always. It depends on the situation. So we're going to cover manuals now, which are another part of the combo system that I did not cover in the previous video because I feel like this is a little more advanced, but I still wanted to cover it because it is technically part of the combo system. I just didn't want you guys getting mixed up. So if you're here to see more intermediate to advanced stuff in the combo system, this is for you. Manuals are an advanced way to make combos harder to combo break. Manuals can replace autos in your combos. To perform a manual, you need to precisely time a normal attack after an opener, linker, or shadow linker. However, manuals involve very strict timing. So that's why I wanted to cover this in a separate video. They're not mashable like auto doubles, linkers, and enders openers are. You have to time them differently, and they are a different element altogether because they're not intended to do a lot of damage. They're not intended to do anything other than make the combo harder to break because it is a single hitting move most of the time. You can manual certain things that are multi-hitting, but that's for a different time. For now, I just want to cover the importance of manuals and why they are important in a sense. So, we're going to continue, and we are going to perform 3 manuals. Now, Jago has a lot of manual options because he has a lot of hit advantage off of his special moves. Right? So, they want us to start with the medium wind kick. This has a lot of hit stun, and as you can see, in this wonderful dojo mode that we have here in Killer Instinct, you can see the amount of time you have to hit that light punch manual, right? That's the first one we're going to do. We're going to do this, and then you see where the blue is on the screen. That's when we're going to time it to get that manual. Simple as that. But you have to time it then. If you mash it right away, you're going to get an auto double. Or if you do it too late, it didn't combo. You know, you have to time it at the right time. So this takes some practice. It's not terribly difficult. Back in the day, it might have been, but not so much these days. The combo system is a little more lenient. So now we're going to do it off of a laser sword. We're going to do a light kick off of a laser sword. Same thing. Another example is a medium kick off of a laser sword. Or off of a wind kick, rather. Jago's manuals are very common. You'll see a lot of Jagos doing manuals because it's pretty important in his combo game because his combos are normally pretty easy to break. You can combo breaker manuals just like autos. Hit both of the buttons at the same power level of the manual. However, you can only break a manual during the manual's short hit stop, which is freeze frame when the attack connects. So you have one chance to get the manual right. And most of the time, you're guessing, because I would say 90% of the manuals in this game are not reactable. There are some that are, like maybe some of Aganos's or Gargos, but I don't think that for the majority of the time, you're reacting to manual. I know I'm not. Just saying. Anyway, most special attacks only give you a very brief window in which the manuals are possible. Heavy moves are slower, making the timing window even more narrow. Let's give them a shot. So, they want off of a heavy laser sword, a manual heavy punch. So this is like the slowest button we got, right? The heavier buttons have more startup usually. So, we're going to try to manual the slowest button we got off of this. Just like that. Because if I were to mash it, auto double. So, we're going to do the same thing with the kick. Like that. The timing requires some practice, but adding heavy manuals to your repertoire greatly increases your chances of success. The opponent has to guess correctly between 3 options instead of 2. So that's why they are important. I don't think they're mandatory, but at a high level, they are very, very helpful. Manuals are not the be-all, end-all of Killer Instinct, and I see a lot of beginner players, their first question is, how do I do manuals? And it's like, you don't want to start there because you're skipping, you're opening a book and you're turning to a page that you're not ready to read yet. You know what I mean? So you don't want to just start out with that. That's not good. That's not good for your gameplay. That's the whole purpose, is that manuals are advanced. They add significant potential damage without contributing much to the combo limit. So in the last video we covered, we were starting to talk about like enders and combo limit and like how much damage you can get off of an ender. Use a few manuals in a single combo to see how damage is affected, right? Perform 2 combos with multiple manuals. So, opener, auto double, linker, manual, ender. I didn't time it right. So that one did significantly less because I used the manual as a auto double. We'll do the same thing here. We'll do an opener, a manual, a linker, a manual, and an ender. So that was 2 manuals in 1 combo. It just takes time. You could do a manual off of any linker that you do. But we'll cover what manuals you can use and when. You've learned the basics of manuals. Manuals are a great way to make your opponents, to make your combos more difficult to break. On the flip side, manuals require strict timing and can lead to dropped combos. Very important. Something that they didn't cover that I'm noticing is that you can only do certain manuals off of certain strengths of linkers, right? So let's go back to that real quick. We're not going to do reverse attacks. What I want to cover are manuals right now. So notoriously in Killer Instinct, manuals can only be done off of the same strength of linker that you just provided in the combo. So if you did a light linker, you can only do a light manual. Openers don't count for this. Openers are an exception to this rule, so ignore openers right now. We're just going to talk about linkers. Doing manuals off of linkers is the most common way you do manuals, right? So we're just gonna cover that. I don't know if there's actually a. It doesn't actually get covered in the lab, or the dojo rather. So we're gonna go to the lab for that. I want to show you guys this because I think it's important. Because this is another thing that people get hung up on, is what manuals you can do and when. And I don't think it's that big a deal. It's not terribly hard to understand either, right? So our linkers, right? We got light wind kick and light laser sword. Off of these 2 linkers specifically, at the core level, not including instinct, that's a different story. I'm not going to cover that. You can only get light manuals. That's the light manuals off of the light wind kick, right? So if I tried for the medium, or excuse me, that's an opener. That doesn't count. I got an auto double there. He blocked it. There's no timing where the medium manual will work off of a light linker. Why? Because you can't follow up with that strength after a light. Same with a heavy. Not gonna work. Off of a medium wind kick, you can get a medium. Get a light. You can't get a heavy. But what I'm trying to say here is the strength of your linker can only provide a manual of the same strength or less. If you do a heavy linker, you get all 3. That's how you get a heavy manual off of a heavy linker. Now, this doesn't apply to every single character. Some characters have certain options where they can manual different strengths off of different linkers, but that's advanced, and I don't want to confuse you guys. For Jago, he is pretty standard without his instinct. He can only manual strengths of the same strength linker as your manual. You can't switch it up like heavy off of a medium linker or medium off of a light. It's just not how the game works. Most characters are like this. There are some exceptions to the rule, but this is what we got. I feel like a lot of people got hung up on that, and I think a lot of people got discouraged by the manual system, but it's really not too much to wrap your brain around, and please don't lose any sleep over it. It's pretty cut and dry. That's about all we got, you know? It's not the end of the world if you can't do manuals. I think there's a lot of players who succeed without them, and I think if you want to have fun doing manuals, you should, and if you want to compete, then you can use manuals if you want to, but they're not mandatory. Anyways, guys, if you have any more questions about the combo system, this is all I really want to cover. Anything else I feel like could be covered just about by anybody else. But I do think that the combo system is the most daunting part of Killer Instinct, and that it's very important that if you want to understand the game, start here. This is the most important part. Everything else will follow suit. I think the combo system is something that's best to be taught and to learn through somebody who understands it, because you're just coming into the game not really looking at it kind of sideways, scratching your head like, what is actually going on here? It can be very daunting, like I said. So thank you guys for being a part of this Killer Instinct movement with me. I hope you guys are getting ready for Evolution. It's going to be a blast. And I hope you guys are getting ready to compete as well. So I will see you guys very soon.